It's about 8:35, 40. I have had to take a couple hours to chill out so that I could stand long enough to do what I'm fixing to do this evening. I'll give a minute for everybody to hop in if you want to hop in. You're not going to be able to see everything I do, but I will make a video. Hey, Gypsy, I will make a video and put together, so if you want to follow the recipe, you can. But I thought I'd hop on here and say howdy. Hi, Angel Eyes, how you doing? I thought I'd hop on here and say howdy because I had to rest for a while. I've had a day and a half, and finally decided I better get a handle on this stinking squash situation while it's cool in the house, or I won't be doing it. So that's what I'm doing right now. Don't worry, I plan on keeping on my fingers. Plan on it. Won't make any promises, but plan on it. So I've washed my squash, and I'm cutting them into about, I like having mine kind of thick because I like for them to stay crispy, crunchy in the jars. So I've got my jars in my water bath counter getting warm. And as soon as I get this done and get these cucumbers into a salt bath, I'm going to start my brine, and I'm going to let them sit for a while in the salt bath. So you cut your cucumbers and your onions up, and you let them sit in the salt bath. You can let them sit for up to 2 hours. If you want to do people, that's fine. All it is water and salt. I don't always let mine sit that super long, but you can if you want to. It's not going to hurt nothing. I like to use the overgrown squash and some of the squash that doesn't look so pretty to fry, and I'll cut it into chunks because I like to use these smaller jars. So I'll leave me a few big rounds for the bottoms, and then I'll cut my squash into smaller pieces because I like to put them in the little tiny jars because it's inevitable. If somebody comes to my house, they will take a jar of this home with them. So I always try to cut mine into smaller chunks so I can put them into smaller jelly jars, because if not, I'd be giving quarts away of this to everybody, and I'd never have any for my own shelf. And once people taste it, they normally come back for a second jar and a third jar and a fourth jar, and then you won't ever have any. I have to do that with my candy cucumbers too, because they like to take those with them too. Now I'm only going to be making about 8 little tiny jars out of what I've got right now, and I have learned, instead of if you've got a water bath canner and you're using the little tiny, and you got the little tiny jars in your water bath canner, if you got an Instapot, that second grate for your Instapot will sit right in between all your lids, your bands, when you get your jars packed, and will keep them from flippy-flopping around. Now, I usually did dummy jars, but I'm just going to tell you, if I can find a way to cheat, I will find a way to cheat. I'm going to keep my fingers out of this mess, promise you. Let me grab my onions. I got me some Vidalias the other day because I wanted some color in my jars. Hey, I'm just proud it took me 45 years before I cut myself with a knife, considering I took about 1,200 hogs apart. I think that's probably a pretty good record. I couldn't tell you how many things I've butchered, and never hurt myself until I got hold of a brand new Tupperware paring knife. But I will say it's a daggum good knife. The doctor looked at me and he said, "You just about went to the bone, Elizabeth." I said, "Listen, when I use a knife, I intend to do what I'm doing." He got kind of tickled at me. So I just cut my onions in half, and then I do little arches, and I break them apart in the mix, because I like to have, when I get a mouthful of squash, I want a mouthful of onion. So I just break them apart and do little bands, little arches. I'll leave them a little bit thicker too, because like again, I like this to stay a little crunchy. I like for it to have a little bite. I don't like soggy crap getting pulled out of the pantry. Just doesn't seem appealing to me. Sorry, y'all. I'm old school. I've never candied onions. If you can get me a recipe, I'll try it. I like to pickle stuff. Mama likes to pressure can stuff, and so together we normally get everybody's gardens put up with what we like to do. And I've been kind of covering for Mom. Well, she's doing great. She's been doing physical therapy every other day at 4, and the doctor's like next week she'll be driving, which kind of scares me, but he's like, she's doing awesome. And she immediately came home from surgery walking better than she left, so we knew that, you know, the biggest bulk of the problem was fixed right then. So it was just, I've got a Ziploc bag over here I'm putting my refuse in because I don't want for my garbage bags to drippy drip. So I put all my, if I know if it's daytime, I'll pitch them over the fence, but if it's nighttime, I'll put them in a Ziploc bag and Dave can pitch them over or haul them off, whichever one he desires. So, but Mom will be driving probably the next week or two, and but I'm still going to go down and help her put up beans and stuff as my body allows. I've had to rest a little bit more today than I wanted to, but I started off at the doctor at 8 a.m. for my checkup and stuff, and got back home and, of course, had to cook and had to do a bunch of stuff, and I just needed a nap in the worst way, because I traveled yesterday and I did good, but my body still has to recover. So now I'm just kind of jumbling up my squash and my onions. Look, I kept my fingers. Yes, I do have on my Tom McDonald shirt again. This has been like my favorite shirt, my favorite go-to shirt since I got it. Because I love for people to read it and go, who is that? And then I love to tell them about Tom McDonald. So now I'm going to fill this with water to where it's going to soak. But before I fill it with water, I'm going to put my salt in. And if you're like me, you hide your salt from yourself in your cabinet. Does anybody else do that? I like to hide my salt from myself. Just because, you know, it seems like a fun game at the time. And then when I go looking for stuff, it's not a fun game anymore. I found a whole bag of pickling lime I didn't even know I had. That tells y'all how country I am. I found a whole bag of pickling lime I didn't even know I had. Now you want to put about a half a cup of salt on this. Now I might put a little less, just cause. But the full recipe calls for half a cup. And I'm gonna go put water in. Now, I like to let it sit for at least 30 minutes like that. Some people let it sit, like I said, up to 2 hours. I'm not one of those people. I don't let it sit for 2 hours. But I normally do smaller batches in smaller jars, and that's why. Let me see what everybody's saying. Oh, is Little Bit of Nail, was she in here? Oh, I missed her. Little Bit of Nail's got a new video. I've not got to watch it yet, but it's on my queue to watch later. I love her. She makes me laugh so much. I mean, if she was in my neighborhood, I'd be taking her cookies or casserole or something every day and be like, woman, we got to talk. Now, I'm trying to look at how much stuff I have and look at my little jars and try to gauge. Wondering if I might need another 1 or 2 things, but I think I'll be okay. I've got my jar picker upper. If you do not have one of these and you do anything with canning, please get you one of these. Because, let me tell you what, this is the handiest thing that mason or ball jars ever invented, was this. Now, when I start my brine, it's going to be a real simple brine. I got a brand new a brand new jug of vinegar. And if you're getting vinegar, you have to make sure now that you, I guess I should have made David open it before he left. You make sure that you're getting, Bernie Davis. Good God Almighty. Well, let's just unscrew the whole top and then we'll worry about the top. I'll make it I've got an open jar. But they started doing something a couple years ago. And they started making fried chicken casseroles, and that sounds real good. They started making 4% vinegar instead of 5%. Now, if you're a canner of any kind, you know that 4% acidity will not hold nothing. So Heinz has always got the 5% acidity, but the Great Value white vinegar also has the 5% acidity. And I made sure because they've been trying to play this trick where they're getting people, people are getting into canning, but they're sneaking one in, and your vinegar's not, I love the smell of vinegar, y'all. I know I'm crazy. Your vinegar's not holding its acidity. So you're going to want 3 cups of vinegar. Three cups of sugar. I'll get that in just a minute. And then you want 2 teaspoons roundabout of mustard seed and celery seed. And then you want to put a good healthy sprinkling of turmeric on it too. Now I eyeball, because I've done this my whole life. So don't get on to me and say you didn't measure. I've done this way too long to measure anything anymore. It just doesn't work for me anymore. Now I gotta find my turmeric. I never measure anything. If my grandmother had told me measure something, she'd probably smacked me silly and told me I didn't need to be cooking. So I don't measure a whole lot of stuff. You just get a feel for it. Now I like ground turmeric because I like the McCormick because I think it has the best taste to it. And I like the color that it leaves in the jar with my mixture. And so I use the McCormick ground turmeric. And I just put a good healthy sprinkling in there, what I think will make the color I'm going after. And then I'm going to put that on simmer. Now while all that's simmering, this is my ladle. Can you tell it's been with me a few years? Don't laugh at it. It's like me. It's beat up, but it's still going. It still works, okay? So this is my ladle. Find your ladle. And I am one that uses a wooden wedge spoon to stir all this crap up. So I'm going to get these seasonings mixed up before I put my sugar in to get my sugar melt. Because I like to see the color of the turmeric and the vinegar because I know then if I need to add more or less. It looks like I got it right on, so I'm fine. Needed a nap. I'm telling you what, naps. I've been doing physical therapy now for, 10 months. I think it's about 10 months. And while it is definitely helping me, I still require scheduled naps. And I think probably as long as I have this disorder, I'm just going to have scheduled naps. So I just got my Great Value granulated sugar. I'm not going to get into my sugar container. Got my Great Value granulated sugar. I can talk. And sugar is the one thing that I will actually measure pretty close. Because I can get heavy-handed with the sugar, and I'm just not going to lie. Not going to lie. Now, for the next few days, my videos might be slow because I'm starting that weight loss injection tomorrow. Not the Ozempic, the Monger, whatever. Because I've done enough physical therapy, and I've not lost any more weight. I'm stuck now. They're wanting to get some more weight off of me for my knees and for when my abdomen swells so that we, have a better line of sight of what's going on in there so it doesn't, bend my bladder and almost kill me again. So I'm trying to get some more weight off of me. I'm going to turn this on to just about low to medium heat and let it slowly start melting that sugar in with that vinegar and the seasonings. And I'm going to fill however many jars I can fill with this. And then if I have some left, I'll do another run tomorrow night. I just take it in stages, y'all, because with my body, that's what I have to do. But my videos may slow down as I start this medicine for the first week because I may be a little green for a few days, they said. And so David went and got me some like Ensure and Boost drinks so that I wouldn't put a lot on my stomach if I was green. I would just sip on the protein shakes. So we'll see if that makes me lose any weight because I've never been small. I've always been a big old muscular gal, but I've got to get some of this weight off that I gathered through all my knee and leg surgeries. Yeah, you work a lot. I know you need naps. Yeah, you need naps. I like my naps. I've gotten to where they're shorter than they used to be, and they're less frequent, which my physical therapist is thrilled about. So she's thrilled, I'm thrilled. But I still need them. And I don't think, with my disorder, I don't think there'll ever come a time that I won't need them. So I'm getting used to scheduling naps into my day. I'm going to push the rest of my squash over there. I'm going to set my other bowls on my table behind me because I'll probably need them in the morning if I don't need them tonight. And then I'm going to get the thickest kitchen towel I have in my kitchen towel drawer. Possibly two. We're going to go with two. Because when I set these hot jars out, I want to set them directly on a little mat for them. Be a while, but I want to have everything ready. You do not want your jarring to get ahead of you, because if you canning something and it gets ahead of you, you're screwed. So that's your friendly hillbilly lesson for the day. If your canning gets ahead of you, you're screwed. So you kind of, knock it over. You just kind of want to have everything ready to roll when you start. So that's kind of what I do. And I have brand new lids, and I'll throw them into my hot water here in just a minute to sterilize them before I get going. You also want to keep a small rag and dip it in vinegar and clean the lids of your jars before you seal them. Wonder who I am, heifers. Goggles on. Lord, I've cut so many onions. They don't bug me no more. It has to be a real strong onion to bug me. Yeah, everybody go and say hi to a little bit of Nell. She got a new video out. I haven't got to watch it yet. It's in my queue. So when I lay back down, it's in my queue to watch because I need a good laugh after working like this. I want to be a good laugh. So I'm going to sit down and watch a little bit of Nell video. I got a Temu craft order in today and was thoroughly surprised by everything I got. It was actually really great quality. And they gave me a $10 credit because they had a late order. And they said if I ordered anything above $10, I could apply the $10 credit. Do you know that my fat butt sat there for about 3 hours because this is what I wanted to do? I found a way, and I found the things I needed to where I had $10.01. And I paid 1 penny for that entire order. And I don't know if it was just me, but I felt like Wonder Woman. I felt like He-Man, She-Ra, Warrior of the Galaxy, and I had really played a trick on somebody. I was quite proud of myself. Felt really good about myself there for a few minutes. Oh, your mom, okay, good. The first couple days, they're like, you're going to be kind of green. Now, I'm not looking to be little. I've never been little, and if I was little, I wouldn't know what to do with myself because I've always been big enough and scary enough to scare people. And what they're trying to do is get some of the weight off of my abdomen, and they're hoping that I could do a little bit more resistance training because when I do resistance training, my body wants to build muscle because I was raised on a farm. By the time I was 5 years old, I was working tobacco fields and broiler houses. And by the time I was 12, 13, I was hauled to break and show cattle and horses. And so I've always been a big old heifer. And so I've got a lot of muscle, but I was going into the wasting muscle wasting part of this disorder. And they wanted to stop that, so they put me on physical therapy, which was great until we started to introduce some resistance, and I immediately started building muscle. And my physical therapist was like, no. And I was like, listen, this is just what my body does. Like, I'm not going to lose any more weight, but, I'll look like Arnold here in a couple of months. I will. And so they decided they would try me on this for a couple months. Maybe not a whole 2 months, but at least 4 weeks. And I'm starting at a very low dose. It's like 2.5. And he said if I do well with that, the next month he'll bump me up to 5. He doesn't expect a whole lot of weight loss the first couple weeks with the 2.5, but he says when we bump it up again, it probably should kick in then. He's just being very careful because my disorder does affect my digestive tract and sometimes my pancreas, so we have to be very careful when we're doing this. So I'm trying to get used to it before the 127 cell because I want to feel good on the 127 cell because that's right here in my hometown. And I want to be able to go with David when he sets up at the 127 cell. So that's my goal. And if you haven't noticed, yes, I'm wearing a Jack Skellington apron. It's my fat girl apron. I love it. It's an apron, a sweat rack, and everything else. I'm telling you what. Now, my brother was on this and lost like 200 pounds. And I'm telling you, when I say my family's big, we're big people. Like, he was 450 pounds of tree stump. He was described in a hunting magazine once because he was a big hunting guide, a big hog guide. He was described in a hunting magazine once as a stump of a man. And I thought, yeah, stump you could cut about 5 logs from. Get a whole bunch of board feed out of that stump. But my whole family's big. Of course, Dad shot horses, and me and Matthew worked the farm. And yeah, and they keep me on lactulose already, so I'm not anticipating too much of a problem with that because I have to take lactulose daily anyway because of my disorder. So not thinking I'll have too big of an issue, but definitely going to watch. I don't drink a lot of pop. I drink mostly water, unless I'm like at a social event. Mostly what I drink here is water and the sugar-free water mixes. I stopped yesterday because I thought with the traveling, I thought I was going to need a bump of caffeine, and I got me a regular Dr. Pepper. I still had 3/4 of it when I got home to put in the refrigerator. And I needed some sweet because I've been going all day. I got me a mug root beer because it doesn't have caffeine. And I got it in me and got a jolt to get home and feel good and lay down and take a huge nap. But that Dr. Pepper was hard on me. I couldn't hardly. The root beer went down a little bit easier and didn't jazz me up like the Dr. Pepper did. Y'all have seen me with Dr. Pepper in my system. Y'all know. Yeah, I drank a lot of stuff I shouldn't drink yesterday, Gypsy, but we was just having a good day and celebrating. But I did today. All I've drank is water to flush, so I've been pretty good. All right, so my brine has got all my sugar mixed. And I'm going to let it slowly start to simmer. I'm going to let it boil just for a second, and then I'm going to turn it down to where it's just simmering. And that way when I ladle my brine into my jars, it's hot brine. And when I put my jars back into my canner, they're hot jars going back into warm water so they'll boil quicker. So my house won't get as freaking hot. So that's the plan. That's what I'm going to do. But it's really easy. It's squash and onions. You can also use zucchini or mix all 3 together if you want to. 3 cups of vinegar, 3 cups of sugar, mustard seed, celery seed, and turmeric for your brine. And then when you get them in the water bath canner and get them to a boil, you just boil them for 15 minutes. Turn it off, let it cool for just a few minutes, and then set them jars out. And the most satisfying thing about that is you get to go into your living room then and hear all your jars start to pop. And you feel like Wonder Woman. You've done something right in the world. So I've got everything started. I am slowly also making a video so that if you want to do this recipe, you'll have a video to follow. But I noticed that the whippoorwill lady does the exact same recipe as me to a T. And I guess it's because I follow my grandma's recipe, which was probably my great-grandma's recipe. It's probably why we all have the same recipe. It's probably older than all of us combined. So if you want to go and watch the recipe immediately, that whippoorwill, if you type in whippoorwill and pickled squash, she'll come up, and she does the same recipe. I found a lot of stuff that she and I do a lot alike, actually. I've gotten to where I can't hardly take pop anymore. I've stopped drinking it so much. No, I can't. No. If I open, we get the bottles because we don't drink a lot, so we can reseal it. And it may take me those little like 8-ounce or 12-ounce bottles. It takes me all day to drink one, but I'll have water in between. Where we switched over in the winter to mostly water. So if you come to my house, we will have Diet Mountain Dew and water, and like tons of water. And on the occasion, I'll make sun tea, but not a lot because it's sweet. So, but you know, you got to have 1 jar of sun tea every summer. It ain't summer. It don't count if you don't make sun tea. I got this hair bow at Temu, and it's like an accordion. You open it up, and you stick all your hair in it, and then you crimp it around it. It was like $1. It is the best hair bow I've ever had. That sucker ain't moving. My hair ain't moved all day. Now you can see I've got some wispies coming out. That sucker ain't moved all day. And I've had a day. Y'all can tell by my face I've had a day. I've done a lot today. That sucker ain't moved. So if you see looks like a little bun, little accordion bun, them suckers are good. And I got thick hair. It ain't going nowhere. So if y'all are having issues with me, like I break ponytail holders, this sucker is good. Oh, you quit smoking? Well, that's good. Now, every once in a while, I will crave a sip of Mountain Dew or something, or I want a Mountain Dew, but for the most part now, when I want something to drink, I want water. And I love the strawberry watermelon mix at Walmart, but I like the tropical fruit one too. And they have sugar-free syrups that you can put a little dash of it in to give it a little sweet without putting extra calories in. And it's Tony or Tori or something like that. And it's make sure you get the sugar-free, and you don't add any extra calories. So we've been doing lots of water. And during the summer, that's basically all David drinks because he's just going. So we've just kind of lost our taste for pop as we've gotten older, I guess. Which is, I guess, not a bad thing. But I didn't. He lost like 9 pounds when he stopped drinking pop. I think I might have lost 2. Men. Oh, I love Temu. Way too much. Like Mama had to send Dad over here during her physical therapy appointment to pick up stuff that I had ordered for her on Temu. I got them the shower curtain magnets because they have a handicap shower now. And that stupid shower curtain is not heavy enough at the bottom. It wants to go over the lip of the handicap accessible shower stall. And so I got the magnets to stick together that will hold that sucker down. And they won't come off the shower curtain. They will hold that sucker down, weighted down, to where it won't flip over the little rim of the handicap accessible shower edge. And I was so proud of myself that I found those, because the nights I stayed down there, I was like, oh my gosh, this is killing me, trying to make sure that shower curtain was not flipped up. I thought, how do they do this? So I got them magnets. Every once in a while, I know I'm not a coffee drinker, so I don't want coffee at all. Every once in a while, I want me a swig of a Mountain Dew, but normally a Diet Mountain Dew will do it for me. But we keep cold water, and we also have an artesian well about 3 miles away. We have a freshwater spring behind our house, too, but we go to the artesian well and get well water a lot, too. And then I will actually Brita my well water, and that is the nicest water you've ever drunk in your life. I'm just not even going to lie. It's lovely, and I drink a lot of that. And David takes those big, huge blue containers and fills those up. Matter of fact, I'm going to grab me a water now. So I keep me bottled water in the fridge, and I keep me well water in the fridge, and that's pretty much all I drink. When you're standing over a hot stove, it's probably a good thing. Okay, so I'm going to carry on with this. I just wanted to check in. I'm going to carry on with this, and I'm going to finish making the video so that if you want to follow it later, you can. You can make this anytime, year-round. If you've got a grocery store that carries the stuff, you can can it anytime you want to. I just prefer to take it out of the garden and put it up. And our squash we're feeding half the neighborhood right now. So I thought this would be a good time to get it up, because David is getting real tired of my fried squash in extra virgin olive oil. It's not like his mama's anymore, because I barely fry it. I kind of air fry it, kind of. And he's getting sick of it, because I'm watching his cholesterol and stuff too. And he's like, why don't you just pickle some, put it up for the winter? And you can eat this like relish. It's great on hot dogs. I like it on hamburgers. You can put it on pinto beans. It's great. It's just one of those handy dandy little kind of good on everything. If you ever grill a chicken breast and wanting something a little sweet, a little spicy, kind of like a bread and butter pickle relish, plop some of that on your plate, mix it, shred your chicken, and a little bit of mayo, and have a really good chicken salad sandwich. So it's kind of good for everything. You can use it a little bit of always. And so that's what I'm going to do for the next couple hours, get this crap up. But I'm going to do the rest of it from my rolly cart because I'm tired. So I'll shut up and let you all go now. Go watch Nell's video. Go give Nell some love. Also, Chris Stringer started a channel. He's sharing his music that he writes about when he was actually on my caseload. He was one of my old parolees. He's sharing how he got out of addiction and changed his life. Oh, did you vote? Great. And he's in a opening act contest for his songwriting. And so I put the Facebook link on my Facebook. So if you know me on Facebook, I put the link on there. But he is Chris Stringer on YouTube. He's only got like a couple videos. There's a bunch of Chris Stringers, but you'll find him. He's holding a guitar and he's got music. He's my big old Pantene guy that sings. Go show him some love. He's got a really good message, and I really want him to succeed. Yeah. Homemade laundry detergent out of that Napa soap, yeah. Yeah, with David's job in that metal fabrication automotive plant, I have to get creative sometimes with laundry detergent to get his uniforms really, really clean. We use the laundry service, but sometimes when he's had a really rough night, I'm like, you better leave that one to me because the laundry service won't get it clean. And I'll have to keep it and soak it. And I'm not going to lie, when he's had a really grease-filled night, like you should see my front rug in front of my door where he steps in every evening after working, it's just black where he's got that grease and he takes his shoes off on that rug. That is why my rug is black in front of my door. And I wash it and I put borax and a little bit of Pine Sol. And it takes most of it out. It cleans his uniforms really good, but it takes most of it out of my rugs. But the one at the front door has just been with us too long. It needs to be replaced. But a little dash of Pine Sol is a great degreaser. So if anybody's heavy works in the factory where they work with a lot of greasy stuff, Pine Sol, just a little, that's all you need, and it'll cut that grease right out. A little bit of Dawn will help too as well, but I think the Pine Sol works better. Okay, I've got stuff starting to simmer, so I'm going to let you go. Thanks for joining me. I'll make a video so you can follow along here, and I'll put it up in a day or two. And if I'm not back for a day or two, understand I'm just seasick and green from starting a new medication. But I'll be back as soon as the sea's calm. So send up some prayers for me and send me some good energy and wish me well as I start this little new transition in my health journey. So has to be done, so I'm just going to grin and bear it and get her done. So I'll check in as I can. But thanks for spending the evening with me, and I'll see you as soon as I can. Bye, guys.